honest truth with Benito Vergotino. Smile 90.4 FM.
Mandela Month reminds us of the importance of giving back to communities in need. However, once-off handouts rarely make a meaningful impact on society. Joining us to give us the lowdown on how impactful giving, in fact, can address some of South Africa's tough socio-economic issues, he's the head of the Citadel Philanthropy Foundation, Jean de Villiers. Jean, good evening and thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, Benito, thank you very much for having me.
Now, it's a pleasure. Firstly, outline what the work is around the foundation.
Yeah, look, I think we're all aware of the struggles that we have in South Africa. Our country is faced with many struggles, and inequality is probably one of those things and one of those challenges that's extremely difficult to overcome. And Citadel being a wealth management business, we realize that even though our client base are probably those people that are much more fortunate, there's a massive responsibility for us to look at the other side of the spectrum as well and see how we can really have an impact on South Africa, help others that's in need, and also by doing so, change South Africa for the greater good. But doing that in a way that's really sustainable and where we're finding solutions to the problems that we have in South Africa, rather than just throwing money down a big black pit and not really creating change and finding a solution for the problems that's at hand.
So, Jean, then what then is sustainable giving?
Well, I think it's kind of in the answer that I just gave. I always use the example of when you stop at a robot or at a traffic light, and there's a guy begging for money. You give him 10 rand, and tomorrow you stop there again, and he's asking for 10 rand or for money again. Whereas that will just continue, and the money will be given out, and he'll be able to function on a day-to-day basis. But if we are more strategic about our giving, if we are looking at the issues at hand and actually putting money to solving the problem to that issue, then we are creating change. And I think a thoughtful process in doing that is the key to all of that. Adult giving is good at times, and certainly we're finding ourselves in a position like that currently in South Africa with what happened in the last couple of weeks. And it's good to be able to give on an ad hoc basis, but being strategic and having a long-term plan and a strategy in how you give is, I think, the solution that we feel can really make a massive difference.
So how can we look for ways to make a bigger impact, make sure that every cent does count?
Well, again, I use the example of, I'm of the view that people treat their charitable giving money differently to what they treat their money for normal investments and gain, I suppose, financial gain. And I use the example of giving 100 rand for education to a school. And let's say for the one organization you can give 100 rand and you can get 2 kids through school, and at another institution you can give 100 rand and you can get 10 kids through school. I know it's a silly example, but if you then take those two and you have the same kind of education and same standard of education, quality of education, who do you choose? And so many times we see that people choose the organization that only gets the 2 kids through school because there's maybe a link. There's my sister's husband is working there, or you've got some kind of link. But if that was in the normal world, in inverted commas, you'd put your money in that organization that will give you the best return. So when you are looking in the non-profit sector, what will give you the most social return on your investment? And we need to start treating our charitable giving in that kind of way.
So how does the Citadel Foundation then help individuals and corporates as well in getting that social return that you speak of?
Well, I think it all comes down to the planning. I think what's important is that you need to look at everybody's needs are different. Firstly, every individual, every donor that comes to us, they've got some kind of plan in terms of what they want to achieve. So what's important for us is to really provide that personal fulfillment to them where they know that they are making a meaningful difference and they're creating change in other people's lives. And then just sit down and plan that whole journey. Where do they want to make a difference? What sector are they passionate about and want to, again, make a difference? Is that education? Is that conservation? Is it in the health space? Where do they want to make a difference? And then what we do is we go find organizations for them where we've done the due diligence on organizations. We know that they're creating impact in those organizations, and then we try and match it to the needs of the donor. Also, from a monetary point of view, we are of the view that you need to sit at the beginning of the year, and rather than just giving ad hoc on a monthly basis or whenever, sit down and say, well, okay, what's your charitable giving going to be for the next 12 months, and work that into your financial planning as well, and then sit with the beneficiaries and organizations that we've now identified and say, well, okay, what are your needs, and how can these donations help with that? So it's very much about making the process of charitable giving a thoughtful one, really bringing the donor and the end beneficiary a little bit closer to each other, and then again just making the process as easy as possible and taking that admin away from our initial donors.
And having the same sort of strategy and plan as you would around your investments, ensure that you do get those social returns, because the consequences is that it improves the society as well. And critical that organizations are vetted, but that's what you do at the foundation.
Yeah, exactly. I think, Benito, the sad thing in South Africa is that there's actually so much money, or there's been so much money that have gone to the non-profit sector. But unfortunately, corruption, mismanagement, and so many other things have caused an environment where the impact has been really low. And I think we want to change that. You want to know that if you are giving X amount to an organization, you want to know that they are going to do what they said they will be doing. And then you need proper reporting from those beneficiaries and organizations to say that, after 12 months, give a report back and say, well, your X amount actually created this. And being accountable for what they are, for what they are meant to do. We help with that due diligence process and vetting of that beneficiaries, and obviously being a financial management company or being part of a financial institution, gives the credibility in terms of the management of the money as well. So there's the implementers, which are the beneficiaries and the organizations that we're linking with. They're really good at implementing the projects or the programs that they are doing. And then there's the money side, and that's where we believe we can also, add value, because we are a financial institution, and in I suppose our minds, and certainly not mine. I don't take care of the money. It's being looked after well.
And in further to that, in setting up that plan around charitable giving, would there be an option, for example, of setting up a family trust? Would that also be one way of doing it?
Yeah, 100%. I think I come back again to the point that I made in, everybody's needs are different. And I think we're trying to provide a full bouquet to potential donors. The Citadel Philanthropy Foundation is very much run like a traditional foundation, if I can call it that, in that you get all the benefits. You can still get your money to your donations to end beneficiaries. You can still have massive impact there. But what we take away and what we take care of is the admin. And a lot of the time people want to give, they've got the means to give, but they don't know how, and they just don't have the time. And we make that easier for them then. So that's the one option sometimes. And then it's also with the fiduciary department that we have within our business. We can take care and setting up and help in setting up traditional family foundations as well. So, if those are the needs of the donor, there's a little bit more money involved with that for the upkeep of the foundation. You probably need to employ people to take care of the admin, etc. as well. So there's a bit more to that. But, again, for some people, that's the answer. And for some people, it's just being able to set up their mini foundation within the Citadel Philanthropy Foundation. So whatever the needs are, we feel that we really can help with everyone. And I suppose in this sector, it is all about collaborating and working together, because at the end of the day, we all do have the same goal, and that really is to make South Africa a better place. And I think we passed the days where when we see these bad things happening in South Africa, when we see people starving on a day-to-day basis, I think we passed the stage where we think it does not impact us. And when I speak about us, where I'm sitting here with a roof over my head, I think we passed the stage where we think that does not impact us directly. If you're a South African, it impacts you directly. And if you're not helping to create change for this problem, then you are actually part of the problem.
Jean, where could our listeners find out further information around the Citadel Philanthropy Foundation?
They can just go to the website, Citadel at www.citadel.co.za, and then there's a drop-down with the Citadel Philanthropy Foundation, where they can get more information around the foundation, or just a direct email to me at jdv@citadel.co.za.
Jean de Villiers, head of the Citadel Philanthropy Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Appreciate your time, Jean. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Benito, and great listening to you.